Hey, this is Colton and Carlos with Xidax.com. We want to talk to you about Stage 2 of the Intel Extreme Rig Challenge for 2018, sponsored by Intel. Okay, first things first, what are the topics of today's video? First, Intel processors, as well as our cooling and what we're putting into it, as well as some couple of updates on our power supply. We show off some cooling, other great stuff. To begin with, we have the Intel i9-7980XE, which is underneath this surprisingly heavy. It probably weighs like 10 to 15 pounds. It's pretty surprising. What do you think you can overclock that thing to?
The stock clock on it is 2.6, but we can easily overclock it to 4.5 or above. It just depends on your motherboard, how much power you have. So,
obviously, we're going to try to get as extreme as possible. The water obviously will go in here, through here, to here, to here, to here, to here, most likely. Is that how you're going to do it, or are you going to cross them?
This is the in.
This is the in. This is the in. The in port is here. The reason being is that there's actually a pattern that it flows through that's optimized for in order to get the best amount of cooling. We'll pass it through all these blocks, and then it'll go obviously back into our radiators or reservoirs, depending whatever pattern we end up going. Do you have a particular preference?
I like doing parallel loops, so I'll try to do this here. This will be serial though, since there's only one in, one out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for like graphics cards. Yeah. So explain what parallel loop is.
So this right here is parallel loop, where it goes in one direction. It goes to both blocks at once and comes out from both blocks at the same time. So
just maximum water movement without limiting it by making it go through multiple patterns. The more turns the water has to make, the less flow that we get in it.
And the more heat it collects.
Speaking of which, we're actually putting 3 graphics cards in it. So this is what they normally look like, this beautiful Asus Strix 1080 Ti. You strip all this off, and then you block it, put new thermal paste on it, new thermal pads on it, and then it looks like this afterwards. Much, much thinner than this, but much, much better cooling. Next thing is reservoirs. These things are pretty massive. There's actually 2 of them. You want to grab the other one? We'll put these. This will be the liquid container. We have 2 different types of coolant. We have blue and green. They're UV reactive. You can't tell in this particular shot, but they will be beautiful when they're in the system. Yeah. What coolant is this?
That's the Alpha Cool Ice Water.
Ice Water. Which is
Eiswasser.
Eiswasser. We're probably butchering it, but we're trying. It's great stuff. Let's talk about our mini board. So inside of our mini board with our SSD, so this is a Z370 board with an 8700K, Intel 8700K, and it's equally as powerful. What do you think that you can overclock this one to?
We've overclocked it with another block, but it was 4.8. And it was a lower power supply as well, so this is 1200 watt. We should be able to overclock it a little bit higher than that.
So you maybe even see as high as 5?
Yeah. So
obviously we have the other graphics card that we're going to water block and put on this. This system will be fully water blocked, including the RAM, as you can see up at the top. It's going to be a badass little board to have on the back. Update to our power supply, we decided to take it to 11 and go to a 1600i.
1600 watt for the main system and 1200 watt for the secondary system.
Just in case we need overkill, we added overkill. Now, let's talk about probably the centerpiece of this particular case is this probably 30 pounds filled with water radiator bed. Tell me a little bit about what your plan is with this layout.
So these are Alpha Cool 360 mil radiators. So they take 3 120 mil fans each, and we did push-pull, so that makes them even thicker. And we're going to be doing 2 different loops with these. So 2 of them are going to be used for the CPU, and then a single one for the GPUs.
And these are the extra thick monster radiators. I mean, these things are like that thick.
They're 60 millimeters.
So the idea is that we have way more cooling than we need here. We're going over the top, trying to make it awesome. We also have these little guys for the cooling in the back. This will actually cool that little motherboard that we have in the back of it.
Yep.
So next piece would be the case itself. So we've actually done some modifications to the case itself. We've added more places for exhaust fans, so along the backs and the sides. Since there's going to be so much airflow, we wanted to make sure that we have more RGB. That was the whole reason. There's just more RGB. Carlos can agree. we wanted to make more holes in it in order to pass the airflow through. Since we're sandwiching two cases together, we have to make sure that we have enough airflow blowing out the sides, since the top portion of it is no longer venting as well because it's venting into the other case. So we have to make sure that we can pass air through the sides of the case itself and still have all the nice glass panels on the right side. Once again, we want to say thank you to Intel for providing us with the 7980XE, the Intel Optane drive, as well as the ASUS and the X299 board that we're using for our awesome competition. Anyway, check us out at Xidax.com. You can also look at the link below so you could enter to win one of these awesome systems as well as one of the VR headsets too. Check us out at Xidax.com. This is Colton Carlos. Till next time.